This whole thing is just getting on my nerves, to be honest. I ain't got nothing to say. There's no question you can ask me. Eubank, I can't wait to smash your head in. April 26th. I can't wait to smash your head in. Listen, I've heard enough of your voice talking shit this whole time. Again on Tuesday. Just shut your mouth. April 26th, you're getting your head smashed in.
I can't wait, my friend.
Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn are set to collide this April, and with the fight just days away, the controversy between them has reached new heights. And when a controversy between boxers is at its peak, experts always have a lot to say, especially when it comes to predicting who will come out on top.
That one can't wait. I mean, look, Eubank's playing a blinder for the promotion of the fight. I mean, a little bit annoying. I mean, unfortunately, if I could fight, I'd want to give him a slap myself, but that's not going to happen.
One person who's deeply invested in this fight is Hearn, and he isn't just excited, he's fired up, fully backing Conor Benn. While Hearn is all in on Benn's potential, he can't deny how well Eubank Jr. has been handling the hype. Eubank's playing a blinder for the promotion of the fight, he admitted. A little bit annoying. I mean, if I could fight, I'd want to give him a slap myself. Eubank Jr.'s confidence and ability to get under Benn's skin have added even more heat to this already explosive matchup.
So, Conor's fired up. I mean, honestly, I've never seen someone put themselves through what he is putting himself through in training camp. He is going to be like a caged animal when that bell goes on April 26th.
But Hearn's real focus is on what's happening behind closed doors, Benn's training camp. According to him, Benn has been pushing himself harder than ever before. I've never seen someone put themselves through what he is putting himself through in training camp, Hearn emphasized, making it clear that Benn isn't just preparing, he's transforming. He described Benn as a caged animal who's been locked in, waiting for the moment the bell rings on April 26th.
A big disadvantage in size, but he makes up for it in attribute, hunger, youth.
Of course, there's the lingering concern about size. Eubank Jr. naturally has the advantage in that department, but Hearn believes Benn's raw determination and relentless energy more than make up for it. He makes up for it in attributes: hunger, youth, tenacity, volatility. Benn isn't just training to win, he's pouring everything into this fight with a mindset that refuses to accept defeat. With his father, Nigel Benn, right there in camp with him, Conor is grafting, grinding, and visualizing a spectacular finish.
Tenacity, volatility, and he is in camp with his dad, grafting and dreaming every day of violating Chris Eubank Jr. on April 26th and doing it in spectacular fashion.
Hearn even went as far as to say that Benn is thinking about nothing else except one goal: violating Chris Eubank Jr. on fight night. This isn't just a fight for him, it's a statement, a mission, and a moment he's been obsessing over every single day leading up to the day. While Hearn is backing Conor Benn to deliver a spectacular performance, Chris Eubank Sr. sees the fight in a completely different light. And unlike Hearn's excitement, Sr.'s words carry a tone of genuine concern, not just about the outcome, but about his son's well-being.
Chris Eubank Jr. was a fantastic fighter, is a fantastic fighter, but he's too heavy. Okay, he is a 168-pound fighter. For him to get down to 160 now is too much for him. So Conor would be fighting someone who has lost his punch resistance, which was proven with this Mr. Smith.
Eubank Sr. believes that his son is making a huge mistake by cutting down to 160 pounds. Chris Eubank Jr. was a fantastic fighter, is a fantastic fighter, he stated, but he's convinced that the extreme weight cut has taken a serious toll. He's too heavy. He is a 168-pound fighter. For him to get down to 160 now is too much for him. While others debate strategy and skill, Sr. focuses on one crucial factor: physical condition, and from his perspective, his son is entering this fight at a dangerous disadvantage. Eubank Sr. isn't just worried about the weight cut, he's deeply concerned about what his son will face once that bell rings. According to him, Conor Benn isn't just another opponent, he's a serious threat with the kind of power that could end the fight brutally.
Chris Eubank Jr. Was a fantastic fighter, is a fantastic fighter, but he's too heavy. Okay, he is a 168-pound fighter. For him to get down to 160 now is too much for him. So Conor would be fighting someone who
"I know how dangerous this young man is in Ben," he stressed. He's not just saying that as a former fighter, he's saying it as a father who has seen what Ben is capable of. He doubled down on his stance, making it clear that this isn't a fight Eubank Jr. should be taking under these circumstances. 147 fights, 147. Leave Jr. alone. That's not just a statement, it's a plea. In Senior's eyes, this isn't just a grudge match or a legacy fight, it's a dangerous gamble that could have serious consequences. This fight isn't just about Eubank Jr. and Ben, it's a continuation of one of boxing's greatest rivalries. Their fathers, Chris Eubank Sr. and Nigel Benn, waged war in the ring decades ago in two brutal fights that remain some of the most iconic battles in British boxing history. Eubank Sr. famously won their first encounter in 1990, stopping Ben in the 9th round in what many consider one of the most thrilling fights ever. Their rematch in 1993 was an all-out war that ended in a controversial split draw, leaving both men with unfinished business.
Well, it helped him to slip punches a little bit.
See, I think from their first meeting, Reg, Eubank is the one who's been doing most of the improving. I don't think Ben's really get any better at all. But Eubank now has the confidence of being a champion. And
for years, the debate raged on about who truly had the upper hand. Now, decades later, their sons are set to settle the score, but Senior sees something different this time around. Back then, the fight was between two men at their peak, evenly matched and fueled by rivalry. Now, however, he believes the circumstances aren't the same. Eubank Jr. isn't in prime condition, and Ben is coming in like a wrecking ball. For Eubank Sr., it's about protecting his son from the same kind of war he went through.
The fight, and there's every excuse, there's every reason, there's everything you choose one over the other. Now this, what Chris is doing right here, he knew exactly what he was doing, and he knew exactly what he's putting on the line. He knew exactly that they were never going to pull this fight off because we, the public, want it. And now it's going to be on Sky. Do you know the way they're going to have access to everything possible that we see, the public will see? But these two here, I like them both. I was a massive fan of Conor's until he's...
While Eubank Sr. is urging caution, former cruiserweight champion Johnny Nelson sees things differently. He's not just looking at weight cuts or technical skill, he's looking at the fire, the chaos, and the raw emotion that's about to explode in that ring. He believes this fight is about much more than boxing. The bad blood isn't just coming from the father's history, it's personal for the fighters themselves. The way they're going to have access to everything possible that we see, the public will see, Nelson pointed out.
His career, he stumbled. Chris, I like Chris because you know what? Chris doesn't care. Chris is like, I'm just going to be me, just like his old man. And for these two to get in the ring, I think there are so many arguments why one would beat the other, but I think it's going to be an absolute sellout. And one of those fights that you could put anywhere and you'd hear.
That means every jab, every insult, every public humiliation is fueling the fire, making this one of the most heated grudge matches in recent years. One of the biggest moments leading up to the fight was the infamous egg incident, where Eubank Jr. cracked an egg on Ben's face during an interview, mocking him over his controversial egg white defense for a failed drug test.
Feud goes on.
The interviewer raised an important question. Did that moment really get to Conor? Do you think that really rumbled Conor there with the egg and everything? She asked. Did he lose it a little bit? Is that what we witnessed there?
Anybody getting an egg cracked on the head, regardless of the embarrassment of it.
You make a good point, yes.
They're going to be a little upset. They're going to be a little upset. And so, and the animosity between them both already, to do that, to humiliate him like that. That's why security will have to be there whenever these two are in a room together. In fact, in a building together, and so they understand this. This is what I'm saying. This is real. I know sometimes the public think, nah, it's all fake to sell a fight. This is real.
For Nelson, there was no doubt Ben was rattled, Anybody getting an egg cracked on their head, regardless of the embarrassment of it, yes, they're gonna be a little upset. But this wasn't just about the egg, it was about animosity, humiliation, and an all-out psychological war. Nelson doesn't expect this to be a chess match or a tactical masterpiece. He expects this to be a brawl. I think it'll be more emotion than tactics when it comes to the fight, he predicted. The way he sees it, both fighters are coming in with too much pride, too much history, and too much to prove for this to be a slow, methodical contest.
And that's why sometimes the insults, the digging, it gets personal. It goes beyond these two guys fighting each other. They're talking about their families. They're talking about personal issues. And that's when you know, oh, there's no coming back from that. So to see how this fight plays.
That's why, in his opinion, the first 6 rounds will be nothing short of an absolute war. This isn't about just winning. It's about settling something much deeper. It's about proving a point, proving a family name, and proving who the real warrior is.
I think Eubank beats him on points.
Eubank Ben, what do you think happens?
You know what, I'm a little bit torn at the moment, but I'll stick with what I've always said. I think Eubank beats him on points, but I won't be surprised.
Liam Smith, who knows firsthand what it takes to go the distance with Chris Eubank Jr., offers a more measured take on the upcoming bout. While Johnny Nelson sees a chaotic war in the making, Smith believes this fight will be decided on points. He thinks Eubank has the edge in terms of experience and skill, but he's not without his doubts. Smith acknowledges that Eubank may not be at his peak. He suggests that Eubank is possibly on the decline, especially as he faces challenges with making the 160-pound limit. He's noticed the fighter mentioning the struggles more often lately, signaling that the weight cut could be taking its toll.
If Conor wins, I think Eubank is firmly on the slide now. I know I get stick for saying that. I also think 160 is hurting him now. He's started to mention it a few times. So that's why I bring Conor into it a little bit more. But like I said before, that being said, if Conor flattens Chris, I won't be surprised. I won't be like, wow, Conor's just knocked Chris out. And if Chris was the same to Conor, I won't be surprised, because Conor's been down, many times before with journeyman, lesser punches than Chris, so I won't be surprised.
On the other hand, Smith doesn't dismiss Conor Benn's chances. If Ben were to land a big shot, he wouldn't be surprised to see Eubank go down. Despite his doubts about Ben's durability in the past, Smith believes that this fight could go either way. He recognizes that both fighters have vulnerabilities, Eubank's potential weight issues and Ben's past knockdowns, and that makes this a true 50-50 fight. Ultimately, Smith predicts it'll be a fight that fans won't easily forget, with plenty of excitement, but he sees it being decided by points rather than a dramatic knockout.
One thing about Conor is that Conor's a heavy, he's like a heavy welterweight, you know what I mean? He's quite big, fills into the weight quite well. I think that'll be an amazing fight. That'll be big.
Amir Khan, a former champion himself, brings a thoughtful perspective to the Eubank Jr. versus Ben showdown. He points out that Conor Benn is a strong, heavy welterweight who's able to handle his weight well. He believes this will be a big fight, with both boxers bringing unique qualities to the ring that could make for an exciting matchup.
Who would you lean towards? I'm not saying to put you in an awkward position, but I look at that and go,
it's a hard fight to call. It's a hard fight to call for me when it comes down to who the winner's going to be. I like both guys. Both guys are my friends. I'm not going to pick anyone on that fight. You know why? Because there's skill, power, movement.
Khan admits that for him, this fight is tough to call. He doesn't feel comfortable picking a winner between the two, acknowledging the skills, power, and movement that both fighters possess. There's a lot at play here, from Eubank's experience to Ben's hunger, and it's hard to predict who'll come out on top. Khan goes on to say that he likes both fighters, which makes it even more difficult to make a definitive pick. As he puts it, both fighters bring something to the table, and the fight could go either way. With so many variables, it's a clash that could go in any direction, and Khan is keen to see how it plays out. For Khan, this is a true 50-50 fight, one where the outcome is still unclear, and the excitement will be in the uncertainty of it all.
Bigger than it ever was. It's 3 times bigger than it was before the 2 positive clomiphene tests. Ben's dangerous early in that fight, in my view, because he's coming with all that stinging venom and kind of pent-up aggression that he's developed over the last 2.5 years. But I think Eubank's fought the better level of opponents, even though he's aged 2.5 years and he's been knocked.
On the other hand, Gareth A. Davies sees the fight as bigger than ever, largely due to the controversy surrounding Conor Benn's 2 positive drug tests. He points out that the drama has only made the fight 3 times bigger than it originally was, intensifying the anticipation and adding even more layers to this already heated rivalry. Davies acknowledges Conor Benn's danger early in the fight. He believes Benn will come in with a lot of pent-up aggression, fueled by everything he's endured over the last 2.5 years. That stinging venom could make Benn a real threat in the early rounds, as he'll be eager to prove himself and reclaim his place in the sport. But even with this raw energy, Davies thinks Eubank's experience will make the difference. Despite Eubank aging and the setbacks he's faced, like his knockout loss to Liam Smith, Davies still believes that Eubank has fought at a higher level and has more overall experience in the ring. His ability to pace himself over the course of a fight, despite the physical toll of time, will be key. In the end, while Davies acknowledges Benn's potential for an early surge, he leans toward Eubank on points. With the fight likely to go deep, Eubank's experience against top-tier opponents will give him the edge in what is shaping up to be a fierce contest. With all the heated opinions, bold predictions, and lingering doubts, one thing is crystal clear. This fight is going to be electric. Conor Benn is coming in with something to prove, fueled by relentless training and a hunger that can't be ignored. On the other side, Chris Eubank Jr. has experience, confidence, and a psychological edge that could play a huge role under the bright lights. Will Benn's aggression and drive be enough to overcome Eubank's confidence and skill? Or will Eubank prove once and for all that size and experience matter the most? The stakes couldn't be higher, and with both fighters carrying the weight of a legendary rivalry on their shoulders, this is more than just another bout. It's a moment in history waiting to be written. Who's taking this one? Benn with his relentless hunger, or Eubank Jr. proving his doubters wrong yet again? Let us know your predictions in the comments, and let's talk about this massive grudge match.